New at midday, Nevada saw a decrease in fatal crashes last month compared to the same time last year. The Nevada Department of Public Safety released new numbers today. The state saw 25 deadly wrecks in November of this year, 31 deadly wrecks in November of 2019. However, overall, fatal traffic crashes on Nevada's roadways are up 4% this year compared to last. So far, 278 people have died in the state from wrecks, and two big factors play a role in that statistic. Joining us now live to talk about that and more, the Nevada Office of Traffic Safety Public Information Officer, Andrew Bennett. Okay, what are the two factors, Andrew?
We've listed speed and impairment as the top list of fatal factors in our crashes. We were lucky enough to see that decrease over the Thanksgiving weekend, which helped us have a decrease overall in November. But as we talk about all too often here, is we have to do better with getting people to slow down, always drive sober, and buckling up.
And you mentioned the stress is still on buckling up. I mean, we just can't say this enough. Why do you think people are not choosing to do that?
This is one where I honestly don't understand the thought process behind it. 50% of our occupant fatalities that we've had this year have been unrestrained, and that's astronomical. And we've seen a dramatic increase of 42% so far this year in unrestrained fatalities going up. And as someone who reads our fatal reports every single morning from the night before, we need to get that importance out that this can be you. And we do have mothers and fathers, sons and daughters that are being killed and ejected on our roadways simply because they're choosing not to buckle up.
You know what scares me is we just heard our weather guy, Justin, talk about 250 days without rain. So when it does rain, and it will, we've got how much of a layer of film and oil on those streets that'll just make it slicker than heck?
No, and I'm scared with you. You know, this is something that, I got dogs early in this pandemic and they haven't seen the rain and they're almost a year old, which, it just shows how long, we've had without rain. And when we talk about weather being a contributing factor, there's a lot of people that have moved to Las Vegas that haven't experienced what it's like to have our slick roadways. And so when it hopefully does rain soon, we need to make sure that we stress extra caution. Again, seatbelts, extra time, and extra space will help us reach that ultimate goal of zero fatalities.
So you just said you read these numbers every day. Do you see anything that you might interpret as a COVID-19 frustration factor among drivers?
Yes, and this is something that we saw all across the country is people took advantage of the open roadways, and we saw a dramatic increase in speeding-related fatalities. And in the state of Nevada, 1 mile over is against the law, but when we talk about speed being a contributing factor in fatalities, we saw fatals with speeds of 40, 50 over. And again, with that combination of being not buckled, that was an extremely deadly combination that we saw that was an unexpected byproduct of this pandemic.
So patience is the watchword. Leave yourself enough time, leave yourself extra time to get there, right?
Exactly. Just give yourself those few 5 minutes and we'll all get a little bit safer.
All right. Andrew Bennett from the Nevada Office of Traffic Safety Public Information Officer. Thank you so much, Andrew. As always, we appreciate your constant reminders. We need to hear them. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dave.